Ladies and gentlemen,
Let's go.
Gaming, tech, culture.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go.
You're listening to the Cool Black Nerd Podcast, presented by Say What Radio.
So, everybody, what's up? Welcome to episode number 12 of the Cool Black Nerd Podcast. This is Magnesium. I'm your host, Jules. I'm joined by Justice of Say What Radio fame. How's it going?
Everyone, it's going good. How was your holiday?
It was pretty good. How was yours?
I am still working on that pie, but I'm
still
good.
working on some pie.
Yes.
That's what's up. I finished my pie last night.
Oh, man.
That's just how I get down. You know, got a chance to spend some time with family, friends, went back home for a little bit. Enjoyed myself. It was pretty cool.
Did you drive?
Yeah, I drove. Definitely drove. Maybe one day I'll be driving a cyber truck instead of a regular car. Who knows?
Please don't.
And why not? What's wrong with this?
You have to go ahead and explain that.
Well, Tesla unveiled the Cybertruck. It looks crazy. I will freely admit that. I won't hold that against anybody who says the truck looks crazy. I agree. It does. It looks crazy.
I mean, straight out of Blade Runner. It really does.
In the defense of Elon Musk, that's what he said it was going to look like. So,
okay, I know he's trying to get into the truck market and things like that, which is actually being taken over by Ram. I never would have thought.
Well, to see, even to that point, as well as Ram is doing, they're still like super far behind Ford and GM.
True.
It's like an $80 billion a year industry. And those two probably have like $60, $70 billion worth of the business.
But they're making up a good market share. I did not think that.
Yeah, they are.
Be saying, oh, Ram trucks. And I actually got into one of the newer Ram trucks and was like, this is a Ram truck? Yeah. Like that screen is on the level of Tesla.
I would like to have a Ram as well. I can't front on that. But I'll say this about the Tesla truck, the Cybertruck. The technology and the capabilities that you get, and this is just what they've announced, so who knows what's going to actually come with.
Very true.
For the price, it's the most compelling value for your money.
Yeah.
That being said, it looks crazy. And I know that there's a lot of people would not be able to get past how it looks.
Yeah, you can't roll up on a construction site with that.
Well, I think you could. See, that's the thing. Like, if I owned a construction business, I don't give a fuck what the truck looks like. Does it work? And how much does it cost? Now, if it works just as well or better in some cases, which is based on what they've announced, that's what we would expect. And it costs less.
I'll give you that.
That thing could look like, and I was about to say it could look like a triangle on wheels, and it does.
And it does.
Yeah, that was supposed to be a joke, but then I remembered that it does look like a triangle on wheels.
Very much so.
Yeah. I honestly think the way it looks is part of keeping that cost down, though.
Really?
I think so. Because if you look at it, like, imagine how simple it is to manufacture that. Like, you get the pieces of steel and you just bend it. Like, you're not really.
Is it aluminum?
It's cold rolled steel. So it's supposed to be like this really hard, tough exterior, which would probably be hard to use in manufacturing if it had like a bunch of curves and smooth lines. But since it's just angular, all you got to do is bend it. You know, you're not like molding it around anything or anything like that. So it's probably potentially super quick and easy to manufacture compared to other trucks. And it's going to be more durable.
I think the towing capacity and power is really what's going to win it over for a lot of people. And electronics, like you were saying.
Yeah.
You look at that thing and you're thinking, oh, it's going to be a monster truck. It's going to be able to pull the Statue of Liberty if I need it, you know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, yeah, it definitely looks like it's going to be able to do some crazy shit.
It's to be seen. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I will say that I am when that came out on the stage, I was like, okay, so they're going to have something else under this. They're going to remove this covering and then we're going to see it. This is literally
the actual truck. Yeah. No. He was
this
like,
is not going to be the Total Recall cab that just wrote, yep, it is. All right.
Oh, yeah. He was definitely like, no, this is the truck.
No, not Total Recall. Aliens. That's what it was. Sorry. When
it does look like one of the things.
Yes. When Ripley ran over that alien. Yes, it does.
Oh, my goodness. Well,
but I got to give them this benefit of the doubt, which is a little bit more than people gave Stadia. I will say that.
Everybody went hard on Stadia, man. Have you played yours yet?
I've played it once.
Okay. What did you think?
I did run into issues with lag, but as far as like the way it looks and what it is, it was gorgeous. I really did not see no difference than what I have for PC right now, as far as like graphics and everything. But I think I'm just used to what it is. But I believe you had said that before. If I am out on the road, the last thing I want to do is to bring this big ass laptop with me everywhere. And that will be great for me.
You know, I kind of echo those sentiments. So I tried it at home. It looked fantastic. It never didn't look good. I can say that for sure. When I was playing Destiny 2 at home, there was noticeable input lag, super bad, to the point where I'd be running in a straight line and it would just stop. I did it again and I put my TV on gaming mode because I play on I don't have a gaming computer with monitors and all that stuff. And it was better. It was still a little bit different. I could tell the difference, but for me, that would be okay if I wasn't at home. If I was just trying to play the game and, get some bounties done or get some quests or whatever. Yeah. I'm fine with that. It may not work if I was trying to do competitive PvP, but I don't really do that anyway. So for me, that's okay. I played the other game, Samurai Showdown, had no issues at all. It looked great, played great. Maybe because it was a game that I wasn't familiar with, there wasn't any noticeable lag with that one. Even if I didn't have the TV on gaming mode, it just played like a normal game to me. I will say this too. I took it to work. So people who work with me,
don't be hating.
Don't, it's never coming back to work.
It was a test for the podcast.
Yeah, I just wanted to test it out. I played it for maybe 10 minutes. It was absolutely perfect. Destiny 2 was just like playing Destiny 2 on the PC. It looked great. It played great. There was no difference at all when I was at work. So I'm pretty sure at work has upload speeds
comparable to what they were asking you to have.
I don't know what it is, but I'm sure it's something ridiculous. That worked perfectly. Playing it on the computer worked perfectly. I tried it at home over the little break a little bit, just playing it on a laptop that I had with me. That was good. I could tell a little bit of lag again, but that was just on a personal Wi-Fi, but it wasn't enough for me to say that this is unplayable. It was just noticeable because I'm used to it feeling one way on my actual gaming computer. It was almost like going from console to PC. It felt like the console probably would feel if I went back to that.
Right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's actually pretty good. And I think your mileage is going to vary just based on your internet speed, to be honest with you. And
which is anything.
Yeah. If it's connected to Wi-Fi, truth be told, who knows what could happen to your signal? A police car could drive by and whatever thing they got going on might mess you up. I don't know.
About that.
Yeah, with Wi-Fi, it's all kind of stuff that can interfere with it.
Right. I never even thought about that.
I don't know.
Weary of that.
I think if they can kind of iron out some of the kinks and get some more games in there in the library, I think that it'll be good to go.
Yeah, and they're coming, but a lot of people were upset about the lack of games that were coming out that would be on launch, and then ones that would be 60 frames per second at 4K. I don't think a lot of people paid attention to what they were saying you will need and what will be working, because I know for a fact, I remember them saying that Chromecast Ultra was the only thing that's going to do 4K.
I do remember that too. Yeah, I remember.
But a lot of people were like, "Oh no, they never said that." No, they did.
Now there was another little bit of a hubbub over the 4K because they definitely been advertising it as all games 4K 60 frames per second. Yeah. Turns out that means it can do it.
Dealer's choice.
But it's up to the developers to actually make the game work at 4K and 60 frames. So if the game doesn't work that way, or if they don't implement it that way for Stadia, then it won't work that way. It's not that Stadia can't do it. I mean, they could have been a little bit more clear on that one. I'll give them that. I'll give that up. Yeah. Like they definitely could have been more clear about just because it can do it doesn't mean that it will. Because it definitely seemed like they were saying everything is going to be 4K 60 frames per second.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
But they did go through the whole little spiel like, hey, the servers at our data center are 4K and they're designed to run at 60 frames in 4K. The connection that we have or whatever technology we have to compress it is designed for it to be decompressed at 4K 60 frames. So from end to end, it's 4K 60 frames. It's just if the developer wants to lock it at whatever, or they want to upscale it instead of actually render at 4K, that's on the developer.
Which again, I understand. I mean, you know what's best to what is going to work best for your software. So I get that, but it was just like all the hate. They were just, oh, I hate it. It's so terrible. It's so terrible. And to see, I think I probably only saw 3 reviews that were like, oh, well, you know, same sentiments that we have. Whereas every single thumbnail that I would turn on that said anything about Stadia was overwhelmingly negative.
Yeah. I saw a lot of just off the rip, like negative stuff. I think one of the streamers, I wouldn't even call him a streamer, but it's a YouTube guy that I watch a few times. This dude uploaded the way his videos came out. It tempted me to be like, damn, is Microsoft or somebody like giving this dude a kickback like this? Because it was just like 6 videos in a row. Like one was like Stadia launch issues destroys the platform.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
The next thing was like Stadia lag murders any chance that it has. And then the next video is Stadia is just pure garbage.
Yeah.
Like, bruh, what? All right, I get it. You don't like it. You don't have to put out a million videos where the language is just Stadia forces Google to go out of business forever. So I don't know, man. But that being said, I remember last episode, someone brought up a potential Stadia giveaway. I don't know.
Yes, we still have that.
So all right, we still got that. We got that. We're going to get it popping. So here's what I'm going to do. Since we have a controller to give away, I will put my buddy pass on the line. I think 3 free months of the premium service. So that's going to come with, I think they're up to 4 games now. So Destiny 2, Samurai Showdown, 2 other games that I can't remember the name of. If they keep it up at the pace that they're going, it seems like that'll be maybe 2 games a month. I'm not saying that's what it's going to be because they haven't really been clear about how the free games deal is going to work. But for now, it's been 2 free games per month, 2 additional games each month.
So yes, I love that. So with that, so we got a Google Stadia controller, and we also have the Buddy Pass, which will give you 4 months of the, what is that? That's the premium service, right?
Yep, the premium service. Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, you will get an exclusive Cool Black Nerd merch. Oh. I'm not saying what it's going to be, but you'll get that.
But it's exclusive, though.
It's exclusive.
All right. That'll work. I'm with it. So what do we got to do?
All right.
How do I win?
So you win. You cannot be a cousin of Jules or me.
All right.
Can't be like, oh, why? Nope. You must be following Cool Black Nerd Podcast, Say What Radio, or Say What Radio Podcast Network, which is now our main hub channel for all podcasts. So you have to be following them. We will put up the post. You follow them and say, hey, I'm down with Google Stadia. All you got to say is I'm down. You don't even got to say I'm down with Google Stadia. Just Stadia. Just comment that on either one. Stadia. Cool Black Nerd, Say What Radio, or Say What Radio Podcast Network. So I'll be posting that on the Say What Radio. Jules will be posting that on the Cool Black Nerd.
On Instagram.
Well, we will eventually start working maybe on Twitter or something else. But right now, everything is pretty much Instagram. But yes, be on the lookout for that. I am probably going to do this before like the Thanksgiving, before Christmas, just so you can have that and be able to do your do.
Yep. And you know what? People got kids out there. Maybe you need an extra stocking stuffer.
Yeah.
We got you.
Yeah. We ain't gonna do you, WeWork.
Well, I mean, I don't, WeWork. That's an interesting company. Man, that leads into so many conversations about life and times in the United States of America. But let's get started. Jump into it.
We have to. So if you guys remember a few episodes back, I kind of went on a little tangent on the Theranos thing because I could not believe how far along this young lady was able to get with this crazy idea that no one actually verified in any way, shape, or form. It was just, smoke and mirrors. Now, WeWork, they have put in time and effort. And if you don't know what WeWork is, it's a co-working space or co-working company, or they're trying to change the way people see working in this day and age. So a lot of people nowadays don't like working in, those old stuffy offices. They like being comfortable and wearing whatever they want, but appropriate to work and things like that. So these particular offices, what they will do is make some sort of deal or agreement with real estate places or areas where there aren't very many occupancy in like buildings or whatever. So they'll make these leases and then do short-term leases to everyone else within that. So if you want a little desk or somewhere to go because you either work from home, you have a startup or whatever, you have this place called WeWork, and there are other places like that as well out there to just rent a desk, rent a conference room, or you just want to go there and just have that energy because you work from home or whatever, and you need actual people around because when you just home by yourself all the time, you need adult or hell, just human contact. So it's a great idea, but the way they went about it just made no sense. So in instances of a recession, the first thing that's going to go is things like that. No one's going to be paying for that. Value of real estate is going to go down, but you're still paying these long-term leases at the same price. But these people who are not buying the same memberships that you had to WeWork, most likely you're going to have to do it at a drastic cut in some way, shape, or form. They're not going to pay for it if it's the same price. One, they don't have the money, or two, they just don't feel it's that valuable anymore. That company went to go and file for IPO. And IPO is, I believe it's like public offering.
Yeah, initial public offering.
Yeah, initial public offering. And it was stating in there just ahead of this that WeWork was worth $47 billion, which makes it more valuable than Lyft, Uber, Spotify, and a lot of other companies that hell, even Netflix, if I'm not mistaken. So
I don't know. Well, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
they had some crazy
as a startup.
Oh, as a startup, it probably was considered worth more than what Netflix was for sure.
Oh, yeah. As a startup. So everyone was going like, oh my God, I need to be in on this, because they were also backed by SoftBank, which is a hedge fund type of financial, would it be called like a hedge fund, or would it be called more?
Well, no, it's not a hedge fund, but it's like an investment. They invest in companies and they go out and, some depending on how much they invest, they actually try to work with the company to improve it and make it more valuable. Or if they just believe in how it's already operating, they'll just leave it alone and let it become more valuable.
But have a stake in it.
On its own. But they have a stake in it. So it's just like an investment firm.
Okay, investment firm. There you go. So they also invested in Jack Ma, who is actually the creator of Alibaba. And that is it just basically took over international e-commerce and things like that. So even WeWork's closest competitor, which is, I believe it was like WG or WIG or something like that, they were only valued at like 13 billion. And they've been around. They had more offices, had more square footage, had more members, everything, only valued at 13 billion. And everyone else is like, so what is it with this company? What is going on? I need to be in on this. They do their IPO. Everyone gets look behind their finances and things, shows that they're losing at least $5,000 to $10,000 each customer.
Yep. So they filed for their IPO. People started actually looking into, all right, what is this company? How do they make money? So one thing I was surprised to find out is that they don't actually own any of the buildings that they're in. So what they've done is they've leased the building from whoever the actual owner is, and they'll do a long-term lease. So they'll do a lease for like 25 years. And then they'll try to basically sublease the office space to, individuals or the small companies, startup companies, like you said. And they'll do those leases for 1 or 2 years. And then, their cost of acquisition is incredibly high. So you're right. They're losing $5,000 to $10,000 per customer when people sign up. And it just turns out that this company is losing money, like hand over fist. They don't actually make money. It's to the point now that they actually canceled that IPO.
Within like 3 weeks.
Yeah, because there was no way that people were going to invest in it with it being valued at $47 billion. Like there was just no way that it even made sense for it to be worth that much.
But people were going off the credibility. They were going, he thinks it's valuable. What does he know that I don't? Eventually, it ended up being similar to a Theranos thing. But it also kind of led to the company culture, the CEO. All of these things were kind of like a perfect storm. And this place had been going full steam ahead for a good, I think, 5 years or so. They started out in Manhattan, which I think would probably be a great place for a lot of people. If you're in that area, it's very pricey to do anything there. Had they stayed there or maybe done international, they probably would have been able to work. But them branching out made it a poor decision as far as finances and trying to make money. But things like this also added to that, such as the founder, Adam Neumann, would trademark the word we and then licensed it back to the company for millions of dollars. He trademarked it for like $200. And then licensed it back. Yeah. He trademarked the word we and then licensed it back. Proceeded to then buy, $60 million private jets and give himself all these low interest loans against the company and things like that. It's just like you're losing money hand over fist. And this is what you're doing. But it was the appeal. It was the appearance of being able to keep that up. That's all it mattered, because he had Daddy Warbucks giving him money. At this point in time, if I'm not mistaken, I think SoftBank had given that company like $19 billion.
Oh, wow.
That is insane.
So they were just keeping the money afloat with the money from SoftBank.
Basically a Ponzi scheme almost.
And the CEO is doing stuff where he's CEO and founder where he's personally profiting off of the company in a way that's definitely shady.
Very.
Like I'm going to trademark the name and then license it back to the company. That doesn't make any sense.
Another thing that was you could just tell just the type of person that he was. So they're going through all this. And eventually, of course, after the IPO, they're like, okay, well, we need to do layoffs. So he announces all these layoffs and things like that. And then has a party with like cases of $200 to $300 tequila with a well-known rapper as morale boosting. Really?
So that leads into a lot of the issues that people find in the company. So goes back to just corporate governance. So obviously people found out that, hey, maybe we need to be concerned with this guy as CEO making these decisions and profiting off the company in this way. Now he's out, which is, I guess that's good news to have some co-CEOs. But I think the fundamental issues with the company still remain.
Yes.
Like the cost of getting customers is still too high. The business model doesn't seem like it's ever going to really work out. If I'm leasing a place for 25 years and then I'm subleasing it to people for 1 or 2 years, if I don't maintain a certain level of occupancy, like there's literally just no way for me to make money. And now that people know that, they're even having trouble leasing buildings. I was reading that, there's building owners in New York and other places now are like, I'm not going to give you a long-term lease because at some point, based on your business model, you're not going to be able to pay me. So I'm not going to agree to that at all. It's a company that can work. It definitely could work. And I know that there's companies that have tried it before and they weren't successful. I don't know what fixes they need to make to the business model, but something needs to change. But it is definitely an idea that can work. Because I've even found myself in a situation where it could have possibly been beneficial for me to, even for like 2 or 3 months, to just have some place to work because I wasn't able to work in the office. Like our office was undergoing renovations. And for me, sometimes working at home is not the best. I prefer to be in like an environment where it's easy for me to collaborate. If I can just turn around and throw a question at somebody or bounce an idea off somebody instead of trying to reach out via Skype or Slack or whatever. And if Slack does an IPO, y'all might want to get on it. I'm just throwing that out there. It's just, for me personally, it's easier to work in an office. But during that time, that could have been useful. Like me and people that were on my team at the time, we discussed it very briefly. It was way too expensive for what we found, but especially since we were only going to do it for like a month or 2 months. But it could potentially be something that works. And you have a lot of people who always work remote, and it may not be easy for them to get work done at home. Maybe there's a lot of distractions, or they just don't want to work at home, but they also don't need to go into an office, or the office is 4 hours or 2 hours away, or the commute is just ridiculous. So it's easier for them to find something close to home where they can just go have an internet connection, maybe have like a little cafe on the first floor or something, and have like a professional office, or maybe it's a new company, or maybe it's an entrepreneur that instead of having their house trying to set up meetings with clients, they can actually have a building to go to, something that's just a little bit more professional. I think it can work.
I honestly believe that is a very good idea. For the amount of money that they were trying to charge, you're right. It's ridiculous. I do see it at different aspects coming together now in different places. For instance, they just opened a Lifetime here in Houston. That Lifetime has one of those co-working spaces on it. It also has a gym. It also has a cafe. It has where you can get like aesthetic services and things like that. So it's all in one. It's not like you're just going there just for that. So what you're paying for is more a community-based thing, and they have, events and things like that. So that's more, bang for your buck there. But just being at WeWork and you're doing it, like you were saying, I think here in Houston, some of the places, because a place where I work, they've actually taken 2 floors in our building and renamed the building to the name of their company. And just for the membership there, it's $600 a month. If you want an office, that's $1,000.
Wow.
It's like, shit.
It's like paying rent on a place to live.
But that's the thing. So if you parlay that against your business expenses, if you were trying to do this as a business, renting something like that would be, 4 or 5 times more. So it makes sense in that aspect. But if it's just you, it doesn't make sense. I know for the one for Lifetime, I think it's like $200 a month. That's not bad. But for $1,000 a month and you just got a desk and you got access to the coffee maker, really?
That's a bit inappropriate.
Yeah. Things like that. But it was very, very telling of how these IPOs and things like Theranos and how they're able to actually get this to pull the wool over their eyes, basically. And one of the things that I noticed, and a lot of people have spoke on, is that they will market themselves as tech companies, but have no technological sentiment whatsoever within the company or even mindset whatsoever. But they keep saying, tech company, because they know that's a buzzword that a lot of people like hear, especially like Silicon Valley. They want to be in on that. They want to be a part of that. So they'll, all throughout that IPO, their filing was like, we're a tech company. We're a tech company. But when it came time to state how they would be making their money, nothing had tech whatsoever tied to it. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is supposed to be like the least profitable IPO class since like 99 when that first tech bubble happened.
So yeah, a lot of the companies that are hitting these IPOs now, they are not profitable companies. I don't know. I think it's honestly an example of the market working the way that it should for now. If you think about it, these companies that are now trying to go public, at least in the case of WeWork, some of them maybe not so much. And I was reading an article, you could actually kind of blame it on Uber and Lyft that kind of started this, hey, we actually need to take a deeper look at these companies instead of just being excited by the buzz that they generate. But when a company goes public, it really is up to the market and people who do invest to do the research and say, hey, is this company actually worth what they're trying to say that it is? So for them to come out with this, hey, this company is worth $47 billion, instead of being all excited and crazy like people were for Uber and Lyft when their IPO went off, a lot of the investors actually did research and found out like, hey, this company has serious problems so serious, in fact, that it may not actually even be a viable company just based on their business plan, not even really being something that can be profitable ever. So I think for them, it worked. In the past, it definitely hasn't. So like that example for Uber, the price that they were at when they came out for their IPO, I don't know what it is, but now their market cap is 48% less than that.
Yeah.
So whatever people said it was worth and they bought in on that IPO at, that company is worth half of that. Lyft is down like 32% from what it IPO'd as. So it really is an example of the market working the way that it's supposed to and preventing these companies that aren't viable or that have some issues from becoming like a boondoggle that people have invested in. Everybody's about to lose all of their money.
I don't know, because I'm kind of just wondering, like, you know, back to the whole Theranos thing is, you know, it's a dog and pony show of the stuff that they're trying to do where you're not actually seeing this stuff work to begin with. I mean, just the numbers, even before you actually looked at it, just did not add up. You didn't have the staff. You didn't have the membership. You didn't have the places for that. Was it just the charisma of the person that's running it that's usually pulling these people in, or what?
It can be. It can be both. And it can just be literally the idea of WeWork, like we just discussed it. The company sound or a plan like that without, you know, if you don't really get into the nitty gritty and how you actually make money doing it, it sounds like a company that can work, especially now. There's a lot of people that work remote, and there's a lot of people who are working remote that would benefit from having an office that they can go into. And it makes sense in that way. Like, I get how it can work, right? But how do you actually make it profitable? And that's what the market is supposed to do. Like, it's supposed to weed out, like, okay, is this just a great idea and we can't actually make it work? Or just a great idea and it's working? Or is this a good idea and we can clean up the back end and we can make a little bit of money? Like, that's what the market is supposed to be figuring out. And for WeWork, it worked. For other companies, not so much.
But it seems like it is working.
But I agree with you. I don't know what it is that for some companies
that pull, that draw.
That pull. Maybe it is the charisma of the CEO sometimes. Maybe it is just the basic idea makes sense. I think you can get caught up in trying to move so fast and get in while the price is low. Because if you think about if you were able to get in on Amazon when it first came out, your little $100 investment, I'm just making up a number, this is probably wrong as hell, but your little $100 investment could probably be like $2 million now. I don't know, just something crazy like that. But if you're going to do it the right way, you got to do the research, or you have to know somebody or trust that the market itself. And when I'm saying that, I mean like the companies that are like managing the IPOs and the companies that invest huge amounts of money are actually doing the due diligence. And sometimes they're not.
It's sad because a lot of this ends up being, of course, as usual, people who do have a great idea, a working idea, trying to get someone to actually see them and invest in them. It just makes it so much harder because they're like, oh, I've been burned, I'm not going again. So it's just like, man, like Say What Radio, y'all can invest in us. Come on. Seriously, Jules ain't going to do you like that.
I really wouldn't. I wouldn't even do like, if anybody wants to invest $30, it is what
it don't matter. Give to the Patreon, something, But one thing I will say, it does spurn some people who are out there. I think you're onto something with that, just saying that I don't want to miss out on these opportunities that I never could have had 10, 15 years ago. Right. I don't want to miss out on possibly being able to take this idea that I have right now and make something better. I love that, but I hate the package that this is coming in with stuff like this. I really do. And hate is a strong word, but it's something that I want to use right now because it really just irks me, especially like in the podcast scene, being in this for so long. So many people were like, you do what now? Huh? Okay. And you have this type of stuff comes in. This guy has his first venture. I don't know if you know this. his first venture into being a CEO or whatever, having a company, was to make pants for babies with knee pads.
Oh, okay.
And it looks just how it sounds.
Knee pads built into the pants for babies
when they're learning how to crawl.
Okay. I have some questions about that. I don't personally see that as a
which is why you don't hear nothing about that
business, but okay.
Yeah. Which is why you see nothing about that.
Right. Okay. So, all right. What company does this person run now?
That was his first. That was
that was the WeWork guy.
Yeah, that was his first company.
Wow, that's impressive. That kind of leads me to my next point. Wealth inequality it's a crazy thing. I don't want to get political in it and how you fix it or whatever. But I think it's worth noting that at a certain point, people can have enough money to where they can do that. They can just say, hey, I have a crazy business idea that is definitely not going to work, but I have the money to basically throw at it. And I can just throw money at stuff until I have something that works. I don't know that that's a problem.
It's definitely a problem.
I just think that that's incredible. And I think when you talk about wealth, there's a difference between people who are rich, people who have a lot of money, people who make a lot of money. Even if it's something like the stock market, I can look at all of the IPOs for a year and I can invest $100,000 in each one. And it doesn't really matter what happens to them as long as one of them is successful. I will have made all of my money back plus more. And even if it doesn't, I can still afford to do the same thing next year and be okay. That's crazy.
Very.
That's what people call fuck you money. Like that's the kind of money where you can really just be like, I can do whatever I want. Literally nothing you can do about it.
I want to sing my song just off of that.
What's the song?
Might be bugs on the rest of you,
man.
But it ain't no bugs on me.
Man.
But you're right. You're very right, though. It drives that wedge between us a little bit further in that type of thing where it's just like I'm having to make life decisions on whether or not to do this or that. And you're just throwing this shit away on companies that you know aren't going to really work and expecting someone to save you.
Yeah. Man, I don't even know if hey, that's even another thing. Like when you start talking about companies and these bailouts that some of them are able to get and just how bankruptcy works to where I could finance a company strictly through debt, take all of that money and then say, oh, company's bankrupt. I'm protected. Yeah. And I get to keep my money. The people who loaned money or invested money through like bonds and stuff like that, they're just SOL.
Like you should. Tough break.
Yeah, tough break. I don't know how you fix it. I have no idea on how you fix it. I don't have a plan to fix it. Maybe it doesn't even need to be fixed. I just think that it's an interesting dynamic. Yeah.
But there's a lot of sentiment that's growing with that. And even some billionaires have actually come out and said that they're tired of the hate that being lobbied at them and why people are so mad at them. But it's just like, okay, you don't get it. I'm having to pay my share just to be able to keep my head above water. You don't have to. You can find so many loopholes that work for you. But if we try to do that, we're gaming the system. There's the welfare or Social Security out there. Oh, they're sucking us dry. It's like, okay, we're trying to be able to still work within the system, do what's right. You don't seem to have to do that because you've gotten to some point and you know somebody that can help you. Yet, you throw a couple dollars down the road a little bit to someone and it kind of feels like, okay, that's great. But I know somewhere it's helping you somehow. Like, where did you actually try to do your part in this other than giving that money away? Ooh, one of the things that I just found out about, I'd never actually heard about this. We may be a little bit off topic, but I thought that was really, really interesting. Hold on. It's like, how they do the charity or charitable donations and things like that. There's something called a DAF. And I'm trying to remember what the letters actually stand for.
Okay. DAF.
Okay, that's what it is. Okay. So DAF, Donor Advised Funds, which is basically you can say, or you can set up this donor advised fund where you're like, okay, I'm going to donate, let's say it's Mark Zuckerberg, and they're like, I'm going to donate $500 million to Howard University. Okay. You put that money into that fund.
Okay.
You'll get an immediate tax write-off on that and can defer paying on that for years or even indefinitely.
Huh.
Never actually have to pay it.
But never actually have to pay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. That's new.
Yeah. So since 2007, when that particular fund for the ultra rich in use has gone up, I think like 40% or something like that since 2007. That is ridiculous. So you're able to still be like, oh, I donated this to that. But if you did it as a DAF, no, you didn't. You just actually got money for not doing anything. I found that I was like, this is so fucked up.
I'm impressed.
Right?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I've never heard of that. I didn't know that was a thing. Yeah. Stuff like that needs to be fixed.
Yeah. So that's why you have those people that are kind of like, oh, well, I can't understand what's happening, or I have hate towards you, but it's only because like I'm trying. You don't have to, and you're still getting something for it.
Yeah.
So that's my rant. Cause like when I heard about the WeWork thing, it kind of just spurned me again like Theranos. I'm sorry, but it did, because it was, I've always seen as a woman trying to do something in this world, you got to work a little bit harder. And I felt like when I saw her in the beginning, I was like, okay, she's making it. She's doing it. And it turns out she has shit.
Yeah. So,
and it just made me so mad.
Yeah. I got you.
The DAFs are getting that shit.
DAF, man, that is incredible.
We'll have to do a show on that one day, just kind of like the different types of investments and things like that. Because I think just in general for people, not necessarily for black, whites or whatever, just in general, I think there needs to be something that people need to know about.
Yeah, man, that's nuts. Okay. Yeah. I'm about to look that up right now. Just take my whole salary and put it in DA.
Be like, yeah, I'm a donate this to Red Cross in about 50 years.
Oh, man. That's nuts. Yeah. So that just goes back to me. I think there's so much out there that people don't know. There's a lot of stuff happening with just wealth and money in general that I think we all need to be better educated about. You know, we can kind of try to make that part of the podcast too, without saying what's right necessarily, what's wrong, or getting into anybody's political beliefs. I think that we can definitely, at the very least, every once in a while, just have some sort of, hey, did you know that this is how this works? Just kind of put that out there so people can understand what goes on and how they might be able to make better financial decisions, or even just more aware of how certain things work. For example, just the difference between a long-term and a short-term investment. I think that might even be something that people may be interested in knowing about, because there's different tax rates for that. And it affects everything from if you have like stock grants at work, or even if you start investing on your own, literally just the amount of time you hold a stock before you sell it can affect your tax rate. And we can get into that once I actually, learn the details myself.
Hey, when you know, we grow.
All right, that'll work. When I know, we grow. And I think that might be a good place to end the episode. Well, how do you feel about that?
Okay, I think so. That's one thing that I like about this. And that other people have said, it doesn't we don't make folks feel like we're coming down, and we do give our critiques of them or whatnot, but we're still somewhat fair.
Somewhat fair.
Yeah, somewhat. Cool, yeah. We did
cool
get
Black Nerd Podcast.
Yeah.
Somewhat fair. I'm with it. I'm with that. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it. We're going to close this thing down for the evening. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget the giveaway. The winner will be announced prior to Christmas, and we will try to get your Stadia sent out to you. So how do you win? You subscribe to Cool Black Nerd Podcast, Say What Radio Podcast. Follow us on Instagram, Say What Radio Podcast Network, Cool Black Nerd. Hit us up in the comments. All you got to do is say Stadia. I mean, if you want to say more than that, feel free. We'll be listening. But if you just say Stadia, we'll get you down. We'll put you on the list. We'll do a randomizer. We'll contact you, get that sent out to you. I'll email you the buddy pass, and you can go and enjoy sometimes laggy gaming on Stadia, but works great at work if you can get away with that.
And some exclusive Cool Black Nerd merch.
All right. We out. Holla.